First play of the game, we're going blind pig.
We're gonna go blind pig.
Blind pig, yeah.
So I'm also a big fan of the blind pig action.
The only reason
Welcome
we're
back
running this
to
act-
the Blind Pig podcast, playoff finals, last game of the season for Super League basketball. Men's and women's happens on Sunday. Cheshire Phoenix taking on the London Lions and Sheffield Hatters taking on the Caledonia Gladiators. In this special episode, I was really fortunate to be able to spend some time talking to Megan Mullings from the Sheffield Hatters and Skyler White from the Cheshire Phoenix, and just kind of get an insight into their mindset, their kind of reflections on the season so far, and I suppose what they're expecting to happen on Sunday. Big shout out to Joe Webster from the Player Agency for helping set all of this up. We had a great interview with Joe that you can watch up here. But honestly, it's things like this and being able to have access to kind of players and to be able to talk to them about their mindset that's massively helpful for us as a platform. So big up to Joe. And yeah, hope you enjoy the interviews. I'll catch you on the other side. We had a great today by Mo Mullings. And let's be honest, this is a first for our show, someone who is soon to be the MVP of Super League Basketball W. I know it doesn't get announced until tomorrow. I don't officially know that, but I'm a teapot if you're not the MVP. But welcome to the show, Mo. Great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Dude, honestly, it is amazing to have you on. And you must be going through like all sorts of feelings, winning 3 trophies already, having the opportunity to do a clean sweep on Sunday. How's everything feeling?
It has been a lot. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, and our team, I'm new to the league, so a lot of the stuff about the trophy, the cup, the final, I didn't know about how heavy a lot of this stuff can be. I think the first one, us winning the Betty Cadona trophy, was really big. I know it meant a lot of Ness, Betty's family, all around. So it was really cool to win that, and the energy and the hype around that was so big and so cool. And then it was just like, all right, and now we keep going. And then the cup came and went, and it was like, really good job, girls. And now we keep going, and we got first in the league, beat Leicester at home to claim that one, and that was an amazing feeling. And then it was like, all right, turn around, and you've got one game for regular season, and then you're into playoffs. So it makes the season a lot more fun, knowing that you've got these little things to look forward to. But it's exciting nonetheless. I mean, this is the last one. We're going to be one of the only teams to be able to do it. I think the last one was London when they had that superstar team. So to know that we're doing something so special is really, really cool.
100%, 100%. And it's one of the things that was always really impressed me about the team, and particularly when I was at the SLB Cup and got a chance to speak to Vanessa and Georgia after the Cup final, is like just how much they kind of were happy that they'd won, but they were already focusing on the next win and the next game. And very much has that been the mentality from the team from the start of the year, that you want to win not just once, but you want to win all 4 this season?
Absolutely. And I think it's probably pretty typical for any team that you sit down with, and especially for this team. I came in knowing that they had won the last final. So they were playoff champions, they were holding the title, and that's what I knew I was coming into. So when we sat down and set goals for the year, our individual goals all led into the team goal of 4 for 4. And it's been 4 for 4. And you break that down into smaller goals along the way, things like defending home court. We didn't lose a single home game this entire year, which feels really, really good. It's nice to do that for our fans, to know that when they come to these games, when they bring their kids, they know that we're going to defend this court for them as well. But it is always this feeling of like, you've got to kind of keep your shoulders up, your haunches up, because you know that somebody is trying to get you as soon as you let it down. So I think winning this weekend will feel really good, because it means we can finally just be like, okay, for at least 2 weeks we can relax.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, for 25 games you've been the hunted. You'll finally be able to go, there's a little bit of a break.
Just a tiny bit.
I'm really interested in your story, because obviously throughout your basketball career, you've played in so many different places around the world, New Zealand, Germany, Hungary, all of these different locations. I suppose going all the way back to last summer, how is it that kind of you got connected in with Sheffield, and what ultimately made you want to come to the Hatters and play?
Yeah. I'll back up a tiny bit more, because the seasons kind of overlap a little bit since I play year round. But I played in New Zealand. I'd had just some little issues with my knee. There wasn't ever anything that was going on. It wasn't working, and I was really frustrated. My agent that I'd been with for 5 years, we had parted ways, and I kind of got to the end of that season like, oh shoot, I don't know what to do now. And I got hooked up with my management that I have now, my agent, Crossover Management. And he found me a team in Australia, in Tasmania, and my goal was I love this man because whatever I say I want to do, he's like, cool, that's what we're gonna do then. So I told him I wanted to be back in NBL 1 South for the summer. He got me a team in Tasmania. It was a really hard season. It's a great group of girls. Tassie is kind of isolated, so you really rely so heavily on the local talent. And some of those girls, I was playing with girls that were 16, 17 years old, a couple times 13-year-olds. It just depended on the day. But it was a great season. Girls were wonderful. Our coach was fantastic. She's absolutely brilliant. And we got to the end, maybe middle of that season, and Brad was like, so what do you want to do next? And I didn't know if I wanted to come back to Europe initially. But I felt stronger. I felt rehabbed a bit more. My knee was feeling a lot more stable. Mentally, I felt pretty good. And I was like, yeah, if I was going to go to Europe, I'd want to go somewhere where I speak the language or somewhere that the basketball is going to be, good level. Um, and I'd said the UK. I'd had a couple friends that have played here before. And he is an absolute workhorse. He just sat down and started emailing all of the clubs in the UK. And Nest reached back out. She was the first one, and she was like, absolutely yes. And when I spoke to her, she was very, very Vanessa Ellis. And it's the same way it's been all season long. She'll let you know exactly what she's got, what she can do with it, and where she wants to see you go. And everything that she told me, I was just kind of like, yeah, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to grow in these ways. I want to develop in these ways. And I remember one of the questions I asked her was about leadership and what kind of a role I'd have coming in. And, she never once wanted me or expected me to come in and to take over the team or to make the team mine or to build the team around me. That was never the plan. The plan was always that I was going to supplement this team and that we would find a way to win together. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far.
Yeah, I think you've done an amazing job. Like, honestly, I think coming in and supplementing the team is massively underselling just what an amazing piece and an amazing addition to the roster you've been.
No, thank
Obviously,
you.
across the season, like 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Like, that's that's way more than just supplementing what's there. That is an incredible year.
No,
That is
it's really
absolutely
cool.
unbelievable.
Really cool. And I think on our team, uh, we have girls that will hit 30 and 40 points a game. We have girls that are this last game that we had 5 or 6 of us out of the 7 with double digit figures. It's not like it's a team where I came in and it was like, we don't really have very many scorers. Everyone in our starting 10 can score. We had our 16-year-old, 17-year-old now, excuse me, Ella, come into the game and immediately was just shot fake, one dribble, pull up, and it was as clean as I've seen her any day in practice. But she's not scared, and she knows when she
Mhm.
comes in that we want her to score that way, and that when she comes in, she can't be scared on defense because she's been going against Georgia, against Shy, against Jess, against us bigs. So she comes in feeling confident as well. So
Yeah. Obviously, for me personally, watching Sheffield throughout this season, Antoinette Lewis and Nina Crisper, they've been like low-key some of my favourite people to watch in the SLBW this year. And particularly Antoinette, like the growth that she's had, and I feel like she's had this year has been absolutely phenomenal. And in
yep.
some ways, it's almost freed you up, I suppose, to be a little bit more of kind of that hybrid, playing both inside and outside, rather than just being, shoehorned into you're the power forward or we need you to sort of operate inside. I suppose how has it been playing with Nina and Antoinette this season?
I am so blessed and so fortunate because we absolutely smash each other every single day in training. And we have had so many things, little things that happen. I got a concussion from net early in the season, halfway through the season. Nina's got some elbows that are deadly. I know that I've knocked the girls plenty of times. We walk away so bruised. And anytime that like the guards have to come in and kind of fill in that other post player role, they're like, please, no more, please. Like, I think the reason that we love each other and we support each other and we're kind for each other and we care for each other. And it's kind of been this feeling of, and I love this, of it's the bigs, we got to do it. We got to be the backbone. We got to be strong. We got to get rebounds. We got to score. We got to stop people from scoring. And if you can stop one of us, I mean, congratulations. If you can stop 2 of us, it hasn't been done yet this season. And I love it. And it does make it easier. There's games where I've really struggled to score, or I've had a massive defensive assignment. So my mind is not on scoring. And Net and Nina just handle it. There's games where we've got these big girls that are strong, and I'm like, I can, but you should really meet my teammate Net. And Net comes in and just absolutely thrashes them. She had a block on the 3 our last game against Oakland, and I was just like, what more could you ask for? Like, and Nina is deceptively and unbelievably fast. And when we do any kind of conditioning or sprints, I'm running, and I remember the beginning of the season we were doing preseason conditioning, and I'm running, and I'm like, cool, I'm in the front, make sure nobody can catch me. And I turn around and Nina's right behind me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she is silent. It's absolutely amazing. But to have three bigs who we all have our specialties, we all have our different abilities that make us these really beautiful pieces in this system. But we're learning from each other, and we're all constantly making each other better every single day. And I think when you come to play Sheffield Hatters, there's a certain style of play, we're going to get up and down, but you also know that you are going to have a really hard time in the post back to back to back, because if it's not me, it's Nina. And if it's not Nina, then it's Net. And if it's not Net, it's going to be back to me. And I'm really sorry about it.
I think that togetherness really does show in terms of like the chemistry you have off the court really shows on the court, and the fluidity of which kind of you're playing.
Yep.
And obviously one of the storylines throughout the season has been that kind of deadly combo between you and Georgia Gale as well. And really kind of that tandem pairing of Georgia being able to go off at any time, and you you just being there to be that constant, like you say, offensive and defensive pressure.
Yep.
What has it been like having to prepare for the playoffs in kind of two ways, being able to prepare with Georgia being there like she would be, or maybe being without her? Have you kind of had to adapt to both of those mindsets?
I think the biggest thing for our team is that throughout the season, we've had different people out for various reasons. Marina getting hurt, then us bringing in Jess and Chantel have been amazing additions to our program. Me out with concussion, Grace out with concussion. Shy had a really big injury that kept her out for 6-7 weeks, and then it was building her back into the system. It's tough. It's really tough, but I think that's kind of the beauty of our team, is that we are extremely resilient, and we just know that whoever shows up on the given day, whether that's that we've got 4 people at practice or we've got 12, we've got to be able to show up, and Nest does not allow for any kind of excuses or any kind of reasons. It doesn't matter if you're the only post player on your team for the day. It doesn't matter if both point guards are on the other team for the day, because in games we don't know what's going to happen. There's been games where we're playing great, and then suddenly it's boom, 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 I've got 3 fouls. Now I can't play to the third quarter. So I really love this program, and I love this team that we have, because no matter who it is that shows up, we know that we all have the ability to get it done.
I love that. And the only thing obviously that's standing now between you and completing that clean sweep and all of that, those goals that you set at the start of the season, obviously is the Caledonia Gladiators on Sunday.
Yeah.
And as a program, you had a really interesting February where you beat them not once, not twice, but 3 times. Once in the trophy final, once in the SLB Cup, and then once in the regular season.
Yeah.
That was back in February. Are you still taking a lot of confidence from those 3 wins, or actually are you thinking this is 2 months later, 3 months later, it's a completely new ball game? I suppose, how are you approaching that matchup?
Yeah. I mean, thinking about it, it's been 2 months, and 2.5 months later, they have developed, they've grown, they have the loss of Demenge, which is a huge loss for them, I think, but they have figured out how to play and how to win without her as well. Um, at the same time, I really respect their head coach. I think that she is really good. I think that she does a good job of having a different scout and a different plan, no matter what team she's facing against. And luckily for us, in the month of February, we saw she will throw 3 different ideas at you. So one game it's deny me, one game it is swarm Georgia, one game it is sit in a zone. I think February gave us the confidence of the game is going to get close. The trophy final, we were tied at halftime. So I think no matter what the scenario was, no matter what was going on, we just had to kind of figure out, okay, now what's the answer? This person's going off this game for them. Okay, what's the answer to that? How do we amend this? How do we fix this? And I think we just have to be strong, and we have to be athletic, and we have to run the floor. I think we have to pick up early, because Caledonia loves a good leak out, and they love being able Warren does a fantastic job of looking at what's going on, running through, getting that outlet, and then kicking it ahead to wherever it needs to go. We've just got to stay attached and play our game, but we've been really, really going at it this week of practice, preparing for them, playing against Oakland's as well last weekend. I think really prepared us, because they are a beast in and of itself. but I'm excited to see what they throw at us. And I'm excited to see who shows up. And I'm excited for this stage that we're about to play on at the O2. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. So I think it's going to be a really, really, really good game. And I don't think you'll know who's going to win it until probably the fourth quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I think all of the matchups have been absolutely like must-see TV and the real showcase between some of the two highest kind of level squads. One of the things that always is really intriguing, obviously, is Tierra Hodges for Caledonia, who has been phenomenal this season. I know quite a few like Newcastle fans that when she left were absolutely devastated, and
Yeah.
Caledonia have been nothing but happy since. But it feels that you've been able to set up the right defensive schemes to be able to kind of stop Tierra when it kind of matters most. So, like, I know in your last matchup, she played 30 minutes, you held her to 7 points. Is she very much kind of at the focus of kind of that defensive scheming that you have?
Yeah. I mean, if you look statistically, Warren and Hodges are their two best scorers, and the other girls kind of supplement around them. A lot of their actions are run for them. And I really like Hodges' game because you cannot forget about her. Same thing with Warren. You look at this game that they had against Manchester. She turned around and had 11 points, three threes back to back to back. And it was just like, whoa. And that was a deciding factor for that game. With Hodges, I love it because I have to be able to help. I have to be able to be in the right scouting decisions that we've made as a team, but I cannot forget about her. So anytime that anything happens, my mind is where is Tierra? And we'll talk about that on the floor as well. Like as Warren's doing something, as she's coming off a pick and roll, we know that she is her midi game is unbelievable. Her mid range sniper is unbelievable. But we know this, and so we try our best to make sure that we push her out further and further. Issue is if Tierra is setting that screen, well, I can't really hedge Tierra or hedge Anastasia and stay with Hodges at the same time. So we're coming up with some schemes, we're coming up with some ideas, but I think the biggest thing is that when our team is able to guard one-on-one really well, it makes it so I don't have to help off of Tierra so much. And when we looked at the game that we did lose to Caledonia, that was one thing that we really struggled with was she got going early. Same thing with Anastasia, got going early. And then we're trying to make up for it, but they've already seen the ball go in the hoop so many times that for them it's like, and I've literally watched Warren shoot, and I swear sometimes her eyes are closed because she just has the touch of like, I've done this a million times. I don't even look at the hoop anymore. So
100%, man. When she's hot, it is amazing to watch. It's beautiful to watch. It is pretty crazy.
yes, absolutely. Watching the Manchester game when they made that run to come back, I'm like, she just scored. She just did this. Like, come on.
Oh, I'm I do love SLBW, and so I live in Nottingham. I'm also a Nottingham Wildcats fan. So but I'm also realistic about kind of where the Wildcats are in comparison to the Hatters. Um, and so I suppose for me as a fan from the outside looking in, one of the things that I would say like is in the playoffs, it doesn't feel like you've had to fight through as much adversity. Obviously the Nottingham game was quite a large blowout, and Oakland's, though there was like kind of moments in that game and there was challenges, again, it was still nearly a 20-point victory.
Yeah.
Do you feel like those matchups have prepared you in the right way to face Caledonia in the finals?
I would say yes, but not in the way that Caledonia has necessarily been tested. For us, I think losing that Oakland's game to end the regular season was really hard. Um, and it was a game that made us really have to look at ourselves in the mirror and just go, what kind of team are we? Who do we want to show up every single day? The practices since that Caledonia or that Oakland's game have been incredible. Ness has really locked down and been like, we're going to stay focused. She puts in hard things at the end of practice so that we're focused and we're locked in at the end of end of practices. So if it comes to the end of game, we are ready. We are in condition to be able to run. We are in the right condition to be able to mentally think, because your body does get tired, but it's so interesting how the mind gets tired as well. And so we've been doing a lot of stuff to make sure that we're ready for this. Playing against Oakland's, we went through a lot of our different plays. And a lot of that was also without Georgia in that game. And so, again, trying to figure out how do we win a game without our point guard, our typical point guard. I don't know that much of the league knew much about Grace or Shy. They've kind of been our little hidden gems. They've had amazing games throughout the season, don't get me wrong, but the two of them, I'm so, so proud. And as a veteran player, I mean, what more could you ask from rookies to come in and to play so hard? For Shai to take over as a point guard and to be able to play the game her way. And she has this Oh, you wouldn't really know it, I think, if you were on the outside, but she has this like childlike love of basketball. Like you can see the little girl in her that grew up loving this game. And I remember we were playing against Oakland's, and the ball was out of bounds baseline, and she looked at me and she was like, "I'm gonna throw it off of her back." I said, absolutely, yes. I don't even care if we score. I don't care what happens. All I know is that this is going to be so good for our team. And it was. And it's things like that. It's different from the style that Georgia has. It's different from those kind of ways that we're typically playing. But the game changes depending on who's on the floor. You know, not having Jess the last two games, that's been so hard. She is this firecracker of energy, and she's been that for us on the bench. And she's been super locked in and just the biggest hype woman you could ask for. But going the entire season or the half season since she's been here with her on the floor, she's a different point guard than Shy is different than Georgia is. So we've been tested in ways that are not so typical, but I think that it has given us the strength and the confidence, and I think more so the togetherness of it's going to take all of us. And we didn't expect it was going to take our two rookies as well to win these last two games, but it did, and it shows in the end of game when we have Grace as MVP for the first game and Shy as the MVP for the second.
Absolutely huge moments. And like you say, next man up, people stepping up. And what I'm taking from this is whenever you have an ATO, that means someone's going to throw it off someone's back. That's the plan. It comes down to the last 3 seconds.
It was amazing, and I was so excited because I love basketball because there are things that happen that you go, I've never, in all my years, never seen this happen before. And I don't think we've thrown it off of somebody's back this entire season. For whatever reason, Oakland's had decided they were going to deny the corner and that they were going to deny me and put somebody right in the middle for whatever reason. I don't know what play we were running. But Shy's a very smart point guard. She went 4 years in college. She was averaging like 19 points a game, and she's not dumb. And I was just watching her like, yes, absolutely. Whatever you need me to do, you let me know. I'm with you. And she had great control of that game. That was such a great moment where I was like, this is the fun of basketball. Like, this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to have fun with it. You're supposed to laugh. You're supposed to enjoy it with your friends. And that was such a good moment for us.
Nice, absolutely love that. And I think you've inspired people around the league. Like people are really buying in. We did so on our platform on Instagram, we did a fan poll. Over 400 people voted on each one, and 74% of people said that the Sheffield Hatters were going to win on Sunday. So it feels like across the league, there's like a sense that this can be done. And particularly for the Hatters fans, I know there'll be loads of people traveling on Sunday. You already mentioned about playing at home is such an advantage. How good is it going to feel on Sunday looking into the stands, seeing all the Hatters fans there and kind of spurring you on?
I know for me, being an import, being so far from home, I've not even seen my family in 2 years. And so a lot of the people that I have come to see every single game, every weekend, sometimes every single day, they start to feel a bit more like family. They start to feel a bit more familiar. And we've had Hatter support this entire season, and our crowd has grown. And I mean, winning games does help that. But I think if we weren't playing good basketball, if we didn't like each other, if we weren't supporting each other, if there wasn't the yelling and the passion and the love for it, I don't know that our audience would grow as much as it has. And I'm so excited to see so many people at the O2. I'm so excited to see our what is it, the fan zone that they've got going on. It's going to be really special. It's going to be really cool, and I think for all three trophies that we've gotten, we get to then turn to the fans and be in the crowd with them. And, the little girls, the little boys that are there, they're just so excited and they just want you to sign anything that they have. Um, it's wonderful. It absolutely feels amazing. And to know that we've got so many people that care so much about this game, about us, it's really, really special.
100%. Yeah, it's truly inspirational. I love that. I love that. I know you're locked in for Sunday, and I don't want to take you out of that mindset and look too far ahead. But obviously, the year you've had has been phenomenal for Sheffield. Sheffield has a lot of love for you. Is it something that you are looking to do to remain with Sheffield and kind of build with the program? Or is that just something for down the line,
That'll definitely be something down the line. I don't have a lot of control over that as a player. It's a lot of administration and what they see as a future for the Hatters. I would sincerely hope that they would consider bringing me back. And we'll see what happens. I mean, the team that we're ending with is different from the team that we had to start the season. And I would like to think that I've done my job here and done it well, and that I've been a positive influence. And even if they don't want me back or if it's just not the right fit for us for this next year, I would hope that I've at least left the game better than I found it here in Sheffield.
100%, 100%. First team, all SLB, DPOY, soon to be MVP. Just one last question. If the Hatters win on Sunday, I suppose, what would you say is the thing that happened that meant that the Hatters won? What's that secret X factor you think can lead to the victory?
I think it'll happen on the defensive end. It always starts for us on the defensive end. So when you start seeing that the ball is just kind of those little irritating things, like I love a kickball. I know it's a violation. I know that they get the ball back. But there's nothing sweeter to me than you're playing great defense and offense thinks that they've got the advantage and they try to send something through and you just launch the ball. Those little deflections, the blocks, even the blocks that don't necessarily lead to us having possession. It's so annoying, and I love this brand of basketball that we play because it is annoying. It is physical, it is fighting, it is pushing, it is shoving, but it's also just like and it's not quite there. So I think the big one for us is going to be coming from the defensive end. If we can get another big block to start the quarter, I think that'll
Yeah,
be.
thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And best of luck on Sunday. Hope you smash it.
Thank you so much.
We're joined by Skyler White, captain from the Cheshire Phoenix, just a few days ahead of the playoff final matchup with the London Lions. Skyler, how you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, it's super happy to have you on. Super happy to have you on. We're a couple of days ahead, or we're a couple of days out from you going out to the O2 and playing the Lions. When you think about the fact this is going to be the last game of the season, everything's on the line, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's try not to think about it too much like that. You get a bit sad sometimes during the week because you're like, you're with these guys every day for 9 months, and then you're kind of like your last week together. But you just try to enjoy it. You try to enjoy the process of building up through the week. And it's been nerve wracking, but you just try to just kind of block it out of your mind and just see it like another game kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And all the family come in with you?
Yeah, yeah, I got everybody coming. My son, my daughter, wife, babysitter to take care of them. So it's gonna be a family affair.
I love that, man. I love that. That's crazy. I can remember when your daughter had just been born because you just it was just before the Sheffield quarterfinal, wasn't it? I remember there was
yeah, we played Friday at home against Sheffield. She was born Saturday night, and then Sunday we were at Sheffield.
Nice.
That was crazy.
Okay, so her first within 1 year of being born, she's going to see her dad win a championship. That's
Yeah.
going to be
Same thing happened with my son too, because he was born. He had just turned 1 year old, and we had won the trophy.
Wow, flipping heck.
So if we win the final, I told my wife, like, we need to have another baby so I can win another championship.
That's dangerous, man. You can be like 40 and having like 10 kids. This is going to be.
I'd be all right with that.
And obviously you've got a great group of guys, and a lot of you have kind of been in those moments before, whether that's inside Super League basketball or kind of outside of it.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested by the team as a whole. When I think back to last season, so the end of 24-25, obviously you and Ben Thomas, you were on a podcast and you talked about the season as a whole of that year, and you were talking about how actually that group felt like it never came together, how people weren't as accountable as you would have liked them to be.
Yeah, we went in. I know I went into it being like, oh, we have a chance to do it again and do more. And then, like you said, those first, I think it's 5-6 games, we were rolling, hit a little bit of adversity, and didn't really respond the right way, And I think on paper, like skills, talent wise, and all that, we were one of the best teams. Oh no,
that wasn't me.
Oh man, that's a fine. We were one of the best teams, like with the guys we had. Personally, I think it might have been a little bit of a mentality, personality issue going on the team. I mean, the 23-24 team, we were tight.
Yeah.
Tight. And maybe it's because I'm not around as much because I'm at home with the kids and all that, but seemed like we were missing something like that this year. And then in the games and in practice, you could feel it on the court. I could feel it on the court. And it's one of those things, like you try to get on people, try to talk them up, tell them to get, to do some different things. And if no one, Cam Christian had a good thing. He says, we have to talk, but you guys have to be able to listen as well. And we didn't have a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like. And yeah, we were missing some toughness.
This group feels totally different from that. It feels like you have a real group of dogs who are like all locked into that one goal of winning.
Yeah, we're all on the same mission, and we all play for each other. You know, we all have each other's backs. Like we have a real brotherhood going on. I mean, the culture of our team this year is just it's fantastic. But yeah, we have each other's backs. We keep each other accountable in practice and in games. There's no room for kind of hard feelings on our team. We get after each other, and I think it's starting to show more and more at the end of the season. Like that bond we've built together.
100%. At what point in the year did you start to look around and be like, hey, we've got a group of guys that could do this. Like, we could go all the way?
I think I've always felt like that, especially like even after those first 3 losses at the beginning of the season, I was like, we're not losing. We're doing this to ourselves. And we kind of, we would go have a couple games where we get a big lead, give it up. And I mean, it's just learning. That's just learning points at that point, like how to close out big games, close out games, put teams away. But as that like we started learning, and our bond kind of just grew better and better. And yeah, we've come a long way since the beginning of the season. I'm really proud of my guys. Really proud of our guys.
100%, man. And it's one of those things where you've battled like through adversity as well. Obviously, it's something where in the semi-finals, for both the trophy and the cup, you were nearly there and you nearly reached that moment.
Yeah.
Do you think that adversity has like helped you prepare for the playoff run?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like we know how it felt to get to that point and then get put out. And I mean, we're just desperate to not let that happen again. I mean, we're just desperate to win. We're all like, our team is just full of competitors, and even in practice, like we just compete with each other constantly. And yeah, we just wanted to avoid that disappointing feeling, especially when those games also, we didn't get beat. We lost the game. Like we did that to ourselves. Like there's no reason why we should have made it to all the finals. And then arguably we were fighting for a first place finish. If you think about some of the games we lost more than 6 games by 2 possessions or less. That's a first place finish right there. So we took those lessons and learned from them. I'm glad we're applying them now at this point in the season.
Dude, the fact that you can rattle that off like straight away, like it just shows, man, how much you know.
Yeah, I know this stuff. I know this team. Like I think about it constantly. Like I love the club, so I'm always thinking about what I can do to help, what I can do to make it better. Like it's just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think though you're right though, especially those 2 losses. Like I think particularly about like the Newcastle one, where it was that first leg that kind of screwed you guys over a little bit in terms of being down after that first game away in Newcastle. And what I've seen in the playoffs is you've gone to Surrey away, you absolutely dominate the first leg. You go to Manchester away in the first leg, absolutely dominate. And it feels like you've tightened up and you've cleaned up those mistakes that maybe happened early. Like
yeah,
they don't happen.
We really doubled down on who we are as a team and what we want to do, and we're just not going. We're like I'm trying to tell the guys, don't go away from that. No matter whatever happens, just don't go away from it. And we doubled down on it in the last 2 playoff series, and you can see what happens. I mean, I told Grant on the other show, I was like, against that Surrey in that first game, we should have scored 150 points, which is insane. Like it's insane. But that's just the kind of dudes we have, the kind of offense we have, and just the kind of firepower that we have. It's ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. And the run and gun stuff is really amazing how the team leaned into that and just kind of created that identity. But I don't want to like cheap out on like how amazing you've been this season as well. Like the growth that you've had this year, and obviously all British team. And for me as well, hopefully I'm going to glaze a little bit, so hopefully you don't mind. But, like the defensive side of things, what I really loved in that Manchester one is you were guarding like 3 through 5.
Yeah.
And you have really become like an interior defender and a presence that allows the team to play fast still on the offensive end. Is that something you've like really zoned in on?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to take a lot of pride in my defense because the offensive part for me especially, like it can be so fickle, kind of like some days you're hot, some days you're not. Just some days the ball just won't go in the hoop. But like defense, you can always make an impact there no matter what. And like my first year, I was pretty out of shape, honestly. I was a big boy. Like I couldn't really move. I couldn't really get off the floor. But then I got myself right and I started noticing like I can move a little bit better. I can get off the ground a little bit quicker. And yeah, I just take a lot of pride in my defense. And Ben's always giving me crap, like talking about like he won't let me switch onto the guard. So whenever I get a chance to switch, I'm trying to lock up as much as I can just to let them know I might be old and slow, but I can still guard. But yeah, I mean, just whatever I can do to help the team. I mean, we are a very small-ish team compared to some of the other teams in the league. But yeah, I just try to make an impact anywhere I can, and I'm just glad it's kind of working out a little bit.
It's 100% working out, man. It's showing, and I
Yeah.
think the schemes are super interesting. One of the things that I've loved to see, especially in the second half of the season, is the defensive scheme to put Michael Diggins guarding often like the point guard or like the main ball handler, and
Yeah.
just like his length and athleticism being able to do that. That is, I
Yeah, the
think
dude's
Michael Diggins is a real weapon.
he's a freak. He's just an absolute freak. Like some of the stuff he does in practice, like when no one's watching, like he's getting like his shoulders at the rim on a casual dunk, and I'm just like, what is that? Like the dude is an absolute just anomaly. But yeah, like we're able to do schemes like that just because of the guys we have and like the weapons that we have, and also everybody's willing to buy in to something different. Like if this is what we need to do one game and we need to switch it up the next game, everyone's like, all right, whatever we got to do to get it done.
So, what is the thing that you need to switch into? What's the thing you need to get done in order to win on Sunday? How does Cheshire win the final?
Just being us. I'm not going to give away the game plan too much, but it's literally like it's just going to come down to. I mean, the us in London, we're so different stylistically. Our identity is so much different. And I think whoever's going to win is going to be the one who imposes their style the most and who's more dedicated to their identity. And that's why I mean I think it can be us because honestly, the way we play, which is our identity, is so fun to play. And you have to go into a game like this just ready to have fun and just play. And if we can do that, like I think we're in a good position to pull it off. But London is a really good team. They just go on, they just chip away, they keep doing their thing. So the defensive end is where it's gonna win the game for us, honestly, I think. And we know we have a plan for that.
Nice, absolutely love that. And I think you laid that out so well, best offense versus the best defense.
Yeah.
And there's something beautiful, I think, about Cheshire Phoenix basketball when it's really working, when you you're slipping the screens and hitting the threes and leaving so much space just kind of open in the middle.
Yeah.
Going into that game, I think you're going to be facing some really tough defenders. Obviously, it's a hugely versatile defensive team. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of Dean Williams.
Yeah.
If we want to kind of make sure they're there when you stretch out. A lot of Joel Scott if he wants to give you a physical defender.
Yeah.
I suppose when London can throw those different weapons at you, and like an Ethan Price, even if they want to shore up the middle, how are you adapting to the defender is in front of me? How am I changing up what I do, or is it just the case of you're just going to rise up?
It's just a case like you have to just know what's going to come at you. I mean, with the case with London, I mean they're so big and they're fast, so you just have to know they're going to be on you a little bit quicker than other teams. But I'm going to still shoot that thing. Don't matter if they're too close or if they get there quicker, I'm still going to shoot it. But that's just like the mindset we have. Like we're going to put the ball up, we're going to get our shots up. And it's basically like the other team just has to hope they don't go in. And most of the time they're going to go in, hopefully.
Oh, dude, they have this season, haven't they? It's been absolutely unreal, some of the performances that have gone on, and like across the board as well. Jackson Brenchley.
Yeah.
Even I'm surprised whenever I look at Pat Robinson's 3-point percentage. It's a little bit funky, I can't lie. But...
Yeah, it's a funky shot, but I mean, he's just so deadly getting downhill. You have to give him space, and he can pull it when he has the space. But I said it to Grant too. I said it here. Like every one of our guys is just elite at something. I mean, I'll go through everybody because I had some of my teammates get a little bit irritated at me. They're like, you didn't mention me. So Matt Zona, if you're listening to this, I'm talking about you first. Matt, like he's humongous. He has a great feet inside game. He can shoot the hell out of the ball as well. Pat, elite downhill. Q, elite defender passer. Demiri just plays his ass off, and he's fast as hell. Mike's a freak. Jackson's a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything. Who else? Tobias, I said, is a pit bull. Like he just does not stop coming at you. He will always come at you. Greg he's so skilled, but because of the guys we have, it's hard for him to showcase it. But I mean, he's so skilled. He's so shifty. Who else? Who am I missing? I think that's everybody. If I miss anybody, I'm gonna get crap for it.
No, you're true, man. I love that. Can I just ask you about your feelings about Pat? Like, obviously, he's won Sixth Man of the Year. We're expecting MVP to kind of be announced tomorrow. Do you think he's the MVP?
Yeah, dude's a stud. I mean, the dude's a stud. I'd be surprised if he's not. But I mean, he's shown what he's capable of doing, and he's borderline unguardable, especially when he gets down to that left hand. There's not a lot you can do about it. I mean, he is. I'm so glad he's on our team because in practice I hate guarding him, but like, I would not be surprised if he got it.
I don't believe that. I've seen the video they put out of you guarding people in practice. That's
Yeah.
unguardable, Skyler White in practice. You're just you're everywhere, man.
Yeah, I try to be. I'm getting old though, so I have to kind of be a little bit careful. I don't want to get hurt during practice, but I try to do as much as I can.
Nice, I love that. I love that. Thinking about then the mentality of you versus London. Obviously the overall season series goes to London. They won the majority of the games inside of the regular season, but you won that critical last game against them. You almost have like that mental edge.
Yeah.
Do you think that you are inside of their heads going into this final one, that knowing that you won the last game?
I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe. You know, I mean, when we think about it, Manchester beat us at home, and it did give us an edge because we're not going to let them celebrate on our floor like that again. I think it's honestly helped us more. It gives us a major edge, just because we know what it looks like to beat them, and I think that's what's most important. Might give them an edge over us, like they want to redeem themselves or whatever. But I think it's more dangerous for them that we beat them because we know what it takes and what it looks like to do it. And that just all comes down to identity again. Like everything about this game is going to come down to who's going to be themselves more.
Yeah, definitely. Who's going to be themselves more? Who's going to impose their will on the other person?
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have routines that kind of help you going into those big moments to make sure that you stay, I don't want to say stay in your lane, but I suppose, like you say, play to your strengths and keep doing what has got you to the finals? I suppose, what are your routines to kind of prepare for a game like this?
I mean, we have the stuff that we know we want to get, like the kind of shots we want to get and stuff like that. So we work on those in practice. But in reality, it's just going hard for, an hour or so in practice, getting our shots up that we want to get up, and just kind of being with each other and making sure like we're just relaxed with each other. The vibes are high and we're just enjoying ourselves, because if you go into a game like that tight and, whatever, it usually doesn't end up very well. So it's just more about just being, with each other, being together.
Love that. What do you reckon what is one thing that fans won't maybe notice, like on the stat sheet, or won't see on like the eye test, that you think will decide this game? What's the X factor, the secret sauce?
Well, for us, definitely, I think like the bond that we have as a team. I've never been on a team with anything like it. Like maybe one when I was, a kid, but like this is one of those teams where like I genuinely love these guys, and like they've been over my house. My kids love them. Like, I'm really grateful I got to experience a year like this, especially like kind of at the tail end of my career. But I think something like that, like we're genuinely willing to like go the extra mile for our teammate. Like we're going to sacrifice our body. We're going to like give that extra effort for our teammate. And I think if we can do that consistently for 40 minutes, like that will make a huge difference.
I love that. And can I just ask just about Cheshire as well? Obviously, you've been in Cheshire now for 4 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years, and obviously you're tied in there. Obviously now with family, having ownership in the club and things like that. You've said a few times now, like you're on the tail end of your career. It doesn't feel like that watching you. It feels like you've still got loads of years left.
I mean, if I can go take it up to another level next year, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, I kind of play up the I'm getting old card, but in reality, I am only 32. So if I can keep my body right, I think I got a good 4 or 5 years left. But I mean, probably at the end of the season, you feel about 45. So I'm definitely feeling it. But yeah, hopefully I can stick around for quite a few more years.
Nice. And Cheshire as an organisation, I suppose, where do you think Cheshire can get to in the next 4 and 5 years? From the outside looking in, I would say you've had loads of success over the last 5 years. Obviously, it's got lots of history, lots of good fans. Where do you see the franchise going in the future?
Well, I think we can really like take it off and make it like what it deserves to be. Um, and I think it would taking Cheshire to the next level would also help just British basketball in general. Arena, more sponsorships, that kind of thing. And I think that's where it could go. I mean, there's a lot of land up here in the north. There's a lot of places you can put an arena, which would be great. Um, and I think something like that would just help British basketball as a whole. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want, is to see British basketball grow along with our individual clubs and stuff like that. But I think we all have to be in it together and as a collective, want it to grow. And yeah, so I think Cheshire could help do that with where we want to go in the next 4 or 5 years.
Totally, man. That really resonates with me. And one of the things I always love watching is just like, I've never seen a Cheshire home game that isn't packed out. So the
Yeah,
idea of having an arena, having more seats, and that
yeah,
kind of rabid atmosphere being in an arena, I
yeah.
think you can really showcase to the league like this
Yeah,
is what
exactly.
fans
I
can
mean,
do.
and like the way just we play, it's fun to watch. Like I have people that I know like who will watch a game that have never watched us play before, and they're like, "That was like the most entertaining basketball game I've ever watched." I'm like, "That's how all our games are." And
Mhm.
I think the way we play is a really good way of getting people into basketball, into British basketball, because once they get their foot in the door, like they can go anywhere they want. But yeah, and they see the crowd pack, hear how loud it is, and I mean, I think our fans and our club it's a very good, um, you know, way that you want to see British representation of British basketball. So very
And I
proud
don't
of
want to look.
my club and my guys and my team. I'm very proud of Chester Phoenix.
I love that, man. I don't want to look too far ahead because I know you're locked in for Sunday, but obviously next season the rumours are all about a potential franchise being in Liverpool, and whether the league wants to talk too much about it or not. We know behind the scenes that ownership's been brought in. There's someone already brought in from the Lions organisation who's starting to build things.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of having a rivalry just over the river, like, is that something that almost like you're salivating the fact like you could have two teams
I
so
think it'd
close
be cool. I
together?
mean, like at the end of the day, there's another team. There's more games to play. And I just want to play as much basketball as I can. Like I love that. I love to play. I love being in the gym. All that. I love competing. But like that just means there's more games to play. And if it's a rivalry game, that makes it even better. Like you like to play in those heated games, those big games. And yeah, I think it's great for British basketball to have games like that because you have like Man U and Man City. Like those kind of games are huge. You have Everton and Liverpool. Like if you can have something like that in basketball, it'll just get more eyes on it, more people interested, and then everything grows. I think it'll be sick. I think it'll be really cool.
Dude, absolutely, totally agree. Absolutely, totally agree. And the other thing that I just want to touch on, just I suppose, is kind of a last part around the London dynamic, because it feels like Cheshire and London, you already have kind of that heated rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the third time you're meeting in a final in 3 years. Do you feel like there is a score to settle after the way that the playoff finals ended
Yeah, I
two
think
seasons
so.
ago?
I mean, me and Q talked about it. Like, we talked about it when he decided to come back. We still talk about it now. Like, we owe them one for that. Like, me and Q are pretty motivated to get this done. Um, yeah, we want that back. We want that shot back. I mean, Sam Decker hit a great shot. Um, good for him. Whatever. But like, you know, um, but yeah, we want our get back for sure, and I think we're in a good spot to do it. So
Absolutely love that. I can't wait to see what happens on Sunday. I think you guys are going to put on a phenomenal show, and I think it's going to really be the game to watch. But really, really appreciate your time, Skyler. Thanks so much, man. And yeah, good luck on Sunday.
cool. Thanks for having me, man.
Hopefully you enjoyed those interviews with Skyler White and Megan Mullings. It was absolutely phenomenal being able to talk to them. And the thing that really came through to me is just how much that team togetherness, that focus, that camaraderie, that chemistry off court has really played into phenomenal season onto the court. I think whatever happens on Sunday, this for me is like the showpiece final. I think it's going to be two amazingly close games, really tight games that are going to represent British basketball really, really well. But who do I think is going to win and who is going to be the X factor? Well, in the women's final, one of the things that's hanging over this is just injuries. So we know that Domenga, obviously for Caledonia, there's a question mark around her. There's a question mark around Georgia Gale. And so people are going to have to step up in kind of critical moments. Particularly for me, I'm looking very much on the Sheffield side at Antoinette Lewis. We talked about her in the interview, but I just think Antoinette Lewis has been absolutely phenomenal. And Sheffield establishing that strong inside presence early is going to be really, really key. And in the Cup, she was on her way to a double-double in the first half. That's how dominant she can be. From a Caledonia point of view, I think a lot is going to ride on Anastasia Warren. Obviously, she can get really hot and can be a real source of offense for this team. I think particularly her getting that going early creates more space for Tierra Hodges to operate down low and in the mid-range like we know she wants to. So watch out for that kind of key matchup on a Caledonia side. For the men's, I think probably the X factor for Cheshire Phoenix has to be Demiri Lindo. And what do I mean by that? Well, Demiri Lindo has shown throughout the season that he can be really dynamic defensively. He's somebody who can get after the ball, put pressure on the ball handler, but also he's one of the unique big bodies that Cheshire really have, particularly against a London team where they do feel somewhat undersized or undermatched at certain positions. So I'm thinking particularly about how does Demiri Lindo really step up and guard people like Chaundy Brown Jr. and really make that difficult for him. And especially offensively, if Demiri is hitting his three-pointers, it just adds such a different dynamic to this team. And ultimately, I think he's one of the people that has to get going for Cheshire and has to be hitting shots in order for them to be successful. On the other side for London, for me, the X factor that I'm watching out for is three-point shooting. It's been one of the things that has come and gone for London all season, and I think they're going to need it this weekend. In particular, Chaundy Brown Jr. We saw it in the SLB Cup when they were breaking that zone. He was going baseline to baseline, looking to knock down the corner three and really bust open that zone. And the three players that I think really need to hit shots, Chaundy Brown Jr., Cam McGusty and Shavar Reynolds Jr. I think the reason is that if those three are hitting shots, it really forces the Cheshire scheme to stick into a man-to-man, to closely contest the hands, and it avoids the zone, which has sometimes been the undoing of London in some of these close games. But it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. What do I think is going to happen? Well, on the women's side, I have my money on the Sheffield Hatters. I think they're going to be completing the quad here against Caledonia. I just think they have their number and they know what they want to do and how to impose their will. So give me the Sheffield Hatters winning this game by 6 points or more. On the men's side, I think it's going to be such a close game. My head tells me that on paper, the London Lions are more the talented team, but my heart tells me that Cheshire Phoenix really want this. And you saw Skyler in there just talking about actually how much this means to him and means to people on his team to be able to get that one. Ultimately, I am going to pick the Cheshire Phoenix. I'm going with my heart. So give me the Cheshire Phoenix to win the playoff finals by 1 point or more. It would just be completely historic to go full circle and have somebody on Cheshire hitting that game-winning shots. So there we have it. Those are my predictions. Looking forward to chatting on Sunday. But until next time, peace, guys.